So, welcome today, everybody, to the leadership session. Why you still don't trust your decisions, even when you know what to do. So, start with considering something here. Have you ever had the experience where you know what to do, like it's clear what to do, but then suddenly you don't trust it? You hesitate, you second guess, maybe you start looking for more input. And it's not because you don't know, but because you don't trust yourself in that moment. And when people think about this, they see it oftentimes as a confidence problem or issue. But really, what it boils down to is a capacity issue. Because under pressure, your system does something very specific. It overrides internal signals to maintain control. So, high performers are especially good at that. You've trained yourself to think through things, solve problems, stay composed. But what happens, what that often creates, is a disconnect between knowing and acting. So when I say things like that, oftentimes the question I get, one of the questions is, but what if I actually don't know what to do? And that's important because there is a difference between not knowing and not trusting what you know. Most of the people I work with, they already know what to do. They just don't trust themselves under pressure. So the reframe here is instead of I don't trust myself, what's actually happening is my system doesn't feel safe enough to act on what I know to do. So, as an example, you can know you need to rest. You can know you need to say no more often. You can know that you need to make the decision and then still override it. So, what's happening in that moment is your system is prioritizing something very specific: control over alignment. And that's pretty deep. So, what that means in real life is control would sound like, let me just handle this now so it's done. Or I should respond so they're not waiting. Or it's easier if I just take care of it. Or you might even say something like, I don't want this hanging over me. Those are all feelings of control, oftentimes, and reactions to needing control and wanting control. Alignment sounds like, I actually need a minute, or this isn't the right time for me to decide, or I know what I want to say, I'm just not ready to say it yet. Or even my body is telling me to slow this down. And under pressure, control is the one that usually wins. Not because it's better, but because it feels safer. Because control gives you immediate relief, a sense of certainty, and this feeling that you're staying on top of things. But alignment, that requires something different. It requires you to tolerate the moment without immediately resolving it. And that is what most high performers weren't taught to do. So, this is usually where another question comes up. How do I know if I'm choosing control or alignment? Because in the moment, they can feel similar. So, here's the simplest way to tell. Control will feel like urgency, tightness, or I need to do something right now, right? You hear the urgency behind that. And then alignment feels like clarity, even if it's uncomfortable. Okay. Alignment also feels like a slower sense of knowing. Or again, it might feel like I already know, I just haven't acted on it yet. And the key difference is this: control is trying to close the loop to feel immediate relief and internal safety. Alignment is willingness to stay in the moment, to discover what's actually underneath the discomfort. So at this point, then another question that often comes up is, why would I override something that's actually right for me? Well, because overriding those signals has probably worked for you. It's helped you succeed, perform, stay reliable, stay in control. Your system learned that overriding yourself equaled safety. But now what's happening is that's the very thing that's breaking trust within yourself. It boils down to this: you don't need better decisions. You need access to the ones you already have. So, trust is not built through thinking. You can't think yourself into trust. It's built through not overriding yourself in real time. And this point is where people usually go, okay, but what does that actually look like in real life? Well, it's not some big moment. It's very subtle. It's the moment where you already know, but you reach for something else anyway. Maybe it's more input, maybe it's more time, maybe it's seeking more validation. So that's the moment really that trust breaks. And so I want a practical way to kind of look at this is to start noticing, where do I already know what to do, but I'm looking for more input? That's the moment. Where do I already know what to do, but I'm looking for more input? And then instead of asking what's the right decision, the question becomes, what am I overriding right now? And just to be really clear, none of this is about getting it perfect. That's often what gets us into the control loop in the first place. You're not trying to suddenly trust yourself 100% of the time. What you're doing is you're starting to catch the moment before you override yourself. That's really where the shift happens. So the goal, again, is not to become more confident. It's to become someone who can stay with what they know, even under pressure. So, if this resonated for you today, I'd be curious what stood out or where you see this showing up for you. And next week, I'm actually going to build on this because one of the biggest issues I see is that most high performers, they don't even realize what's happening until they're already very deep in it. So next week, what we're talking about is why you don't feel burned out until it's too late. That one tends to land pretty hard. So I hope this resonated today. I'd love to have your feedback if you want to share it with me. And I look forward to seeing you all next week. Thank you.